What Would She Do? The show about life, love, and relationships, hosted by Saran Almond. Changing hearts and minds, one conversation at a time. So today's show is a dating and relationship Q&A. We took it to the street to ask people a gamut of questions. We're going to look at those interviews and we're going to come back and talk about it. Are you ready?
Sounds good.
All
Let's
right,
do it.
let's take a look.
All right. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Yes.
I believe that you can see someone and, fall for them at first sight, and then that can develop into love.
Crush at first sight, yeah, but not like head over heels.
Yes. Have you experienced it?
Yes.
You can't love someone off of sight. It's more so attraction and lust, not love.
I don't think so. No, I don't.
It's not for everybody, but you know within yourself that you care or want to get to know someone.
I believe you got to get to know somebody. It takes time. I think sometimes people who's infatuated with a person jumped into it real quick with the looks and, the physical and everything like that. And I think that's where everything goes wrong.
Most of the time I believe it lust at first sight.
What are your date expectations?
Don't have any.
I only expect you to be honest and to be open.
Expectations that we are able to do anything together. We're able to be comfortable with each other.
I try to be like the Danish. Apparently they have like low expectations, so like they don't get disappointed.
Simply to get to know that person and see if we would be a good fit for a next date.
He pays.
A woman has her things together.
I don't really expect too much. I mean, just be a gentleman and respect me, respect my boundaries.
All right, describe your perfect date.
My perfect date.
Walk in the park. You can go out to dinner. I like, taking people out to restaurants.
The perfect date is different. It's not the cliche going out to the restaurant every time or going to the movies. It's doing something different that somebody hasn't done.
Like a brewery type of deal, so like you can actually get to talk to the person.
If we're both engaged, we're both having fun, we're both living life, and there's no cares in the world, that's a perfect date.
We went scuba diving. That would be perfect.
Top notch, just service and also just intimacy.
Ultimately, the perfect date, is when you land and get the magic box.
All right. What's the first thing you notice about a person when you meet them?
Eyes.
Their teeth, their smile.
I think hands has a lot to do with type of person you're dealing with. If they have very manicured nails or thick, girthy fingers, I think that has a lot to do with expectation.
Her looks, of course.
Smile. Okay. Always. It's what draws me in.
Gotta say the height. If somebody's like shorter than you or like taller than you, you're gonna notice that first off.
It might be their face. It might be their laugh or something. It depends.
Shoes. Yeah, shoes.
I'll say hair, eyebrows, nails, things like that.
Their eyes and their lips, and then what they're wearing.
Okay, so online dating, yay or nay?
I think it's both. I've done both, and it could be nice to kind of like get yourself in the dating world and get a little bit of experience, but overall, it just depends on what you're looking for.
I feel like if you do like the free stuff, like the plenty of fishes and stuff like that, you're gonna get the nods out here.
I know a few people who have met their significant other currently on websites, so I can't say that it never works.
But if you're doing something that is requiring you to pay, for the guy to pay, you might get a little bit better quality because they're not going to waste their money and waste your time.
For some people who have a busy schedule or they're shy about things, people who like me, who like to, write their feelings, it's a great way to express yourself and get to know someone.
I tried it for about a month. Got nothing but people I would never date.
Definitely a yay.
Ooh, why? Why so enthusiastic about it?
Well, because of the fact that everybody's always on their phone, everybody's digital. You have a digital footprint, and people don't really have the time to go out and serial date in person.
I would rather get out and meet people in person.
For me, online dating is a no-go. I like that immediate interaction with the person. I like the vibes, like the energy, the physical energy, like, hey, I'm looking at you, you looking at me, what we doing, That's what I like. So
At what point are you in a relationship?
For me, it would be after so many dates.
When you're mutually exclusive.
I feel like that's something that you guys have to talk about.
In America, you have to have like the talk of like we're in a relationship, or like where do we become serious and like non-casual. But in other cultures, it's like once you're kind of like going out more than a couple of times and you've kissed and maybe you've slept together, you're actually in a relationship and you don't have to say that. So I kind of like that way better than the American of like, are we something?
Yeah, I wouldn't automatically assume off of dates or sexual encounters.
As soon as you admit to each other, you know, hey, I like you, I want to get to know you a little bit more, like I want to get to know you.
When both agree that they're on that level.
You said a number of dates. How many?
For me, it would be 7.
Maybe 6 months.
When both parties feel that you are in a relationship, you have to have communication and you have to have trust on both sides.
Okay, welcome back. So the first segment is the great date debate. So let's start with the first question. Do you believe in love at first sight?
No.
Neither do I. I believe in maybe even lust at first sight, but love, I don't know, that's a bit much.
I mean, I totally agree. I mean, when you look at love, it's something that, it's like trust. You have to earn it. It's something that develops over time.
I don't know, because I've had some fellas that they love me at first sight, so I'm just saying.
Well, I look at it this way, you know, if you're riding down the highway and you pass a Porsche, I liked the Porsche until I realized that it had no engine.
Then it would not be riding down the highway.
But the point is, I'm saying if you bypass it, if you look at something and you say, oh, it's very attractive on the outside,
right,
but it has no seats, no steering wheel on the inside.
That's why you have to get to know a person.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's why I feel like you can't love at first sight.
So what are your date expectations? I know for me, I heard a gentleman in the interviews, and he said that I like on a date for someone to hold doors for me, someone to open up car doors for me. Pulling out my chair is wonderful. Is that something that's reasonable for a man to do?
I think so. I think it shows that you come from some type of great background. Okay. But if you start with that, then a woman, from my perspective, expects you to keep doing that.
Right.
So are you trying to impress, or is this who you are?
Right. Agreed. So what are your date expectations?
I'm big on Christian values because me personally, having a relationship with Christ keeps you out of trouble.
Right.
Brings you home on time.
Absolutely.
Type of thing like that.
I agree.
So yeah, we have to have good conversation and share some of the same values. Now, to me, that's my expectation.
Okay. So what is your perfect date? We heard a lot of interesting stuff. We heard had one lady say scuba diving. That would not be so perfect for me because I can't swim.
Right.
But parks, picnics, that kind of thing. What would be your perfect date?
I see. I would have to say me cooking. Now, I love to cook.
Okay.
But if I'm cooking, I believe that a man invests time and energy into something that he truly cares for.
Okay.
So when I cook for a woman, she's getting the real deal.
Oh.
The works of a man's hand.
Oh.
The labor.
So what is she getting before the dinner?
Somebody else cooking. So yeah, somebody else cooking until we make it there.
So what's the first thing you notice about a person?
I believe the personality.
Online dating, we heard mixed reviews. Some people say yay, they've had a lot of great experiences or know of people who've had really great experiences, and other people say no. For me, it's a no. I did try one dating site, and I don't know, it was just so overwhelming to keep up with. What has been your experience?
None.
Done?
None. But from my hearing other people's experience with it, I look at it this way. If you're a consumer, you're doing online shopping, you know exactly what you want.
Okay.
It's the same thing with online dating. You put in exactly what you're looking for. So it can kind of filter out everything else. So I can only imagine that it would be good.
Well, I don't know. I think, like I had my site up, I was on for a week and it was just too much. But it seems like you don't get to know the real person because you can write anything on your profile. That doesn't make it who you are, as evident by social media. So I don't know. I'm not a yay or nay because I haven't really given it a fair chance. But just interesting if you're a person who's considering online dating, those interviews will give you some insight on other people's experiences. So the next question was, at what point during the dating process are you in a relationship? So, is there a period of time before you think, okay, now this is a relationship or we should be in one? Like, what makes you know that now things have changed?
I think when a man cooks, when you go to each other's domain and he cooks for you,
Okay.
I think that's when it's official.
Okay.
Because now you're in my personal, we've met out in public, we're comfortable enough to come back to my place. I'm cooking for you, you know, and the whole scene is set right.
Okay.
I mean, you just won't bring anybody to your home, would you?
If we were dating and you came to my house, that would not make us automatically in a relationship.
Would you invite a man to your house?
It just depends on, you know, how well I know him. Like, just anybody is not coming to my house. But if you are one of those people who would get an invitation, that doesn't make you my man because you're there. So I think for me, it would be communication. We would have to have that conversation about whether or not we're in a relationship, or even if that's what you're looking for. I know nowadays people, if you're nice to them, they think, okay, now we're in a relationship and they want to lay claim. I don't know.
If I had to date all over again, you'd have to go through a credit assessment. We have to have some equal value, like an employee. Because I believe that being in a relationship is a job. So for me to cook for you, you got to go through some qualifications.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm going to debone everything. I'm going to fillet it for you. When a man fillets it for you, you know for a fact he's serious about you. Because he done took the time to peel it back.
Okay.
Remember that. Take that with you.
I will. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the next segment is Do You Relate? So these are these questions went from dating and, you know, kind of dabbling into getting to know someone into what a relationship, the things you might encounter in a relationship. So we're going to take a look at that and we'll be right back.
What values do you look for in a mate?
Respect and how she talked to her parents and how she treat them. If she have kids and how well she's with her kids.
They have to be funny. I think humor and like conversation wise, you have to like have things in common.
Not always about looks. It's about quality. Who's gonna treat you right? Who's gonna be there when you need them? Who's gonna answer the phone when you need them? And vice versa.
Someone that has self-respect. That's important to me.
Family, religion, independence, ambition.
Loyalty, genuineness,
respectable, trustworthy. That goes a long way. And he treats his mama with some respect, or whoever raised him.
Someone who's not complacent, someone who wants to grow.
How and when do you know that he or she is the one?
For me, it was the conversations. They shifted from just being friendship to longevity.
I feel like you'll just know when.
Constantly choosing each other when there was a lot easier way out.
You know when, like I said, your heart skips a beat and you only want to talk to this person. You're thinking about this person at all times of the day.
You can mess up as much as you can and they still take you back and still try to help you out.
I think once you get hurt and your heart is broken, that's when you realize you were in love.
You eating, you slurping up spaghettis, watching Netflix, and you look over, you like, I think you might get fired.
So do you think people should live together before marriage?
No. I'm a huge stickler for why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free.
I say, yeah, try it out. You don't have to stay together forever. You can just try it out for a year or two.
You can think you know that person in and out until you live with them.
You know, living with somebody else is complicated, so might as well get over that hurdle before you get married.
Definitely. I definitely think that you definitely have to live with somebody to get to know someone, to know their habits.
What wouldn't you do to maintain a relationship?
Wouldn't I do? Be crazy, like not trusting.
I wouldn't degrade myself to maintain a relationship. I would not lower myself or try to change myself to that person's liking.
Forgiving a bunch of things that person has done just because to stay together.
I would not have sex on camera. I would not have a threesome. I'm not robbing a bank. My house is not the trap house. I'm not keeping your drugs.
I wouldn't compromise who I am. If that person didn't like me for who I was and wanted me to change, I wouldn't.
I'm not going to be putting in 100 and you putting in 1.5 cents, you know?
Right.
Like, that's not gonna work out.
There's a saying in Spanish, it's better to be alone than badly accompanied.
Is it okay for your significant other to have friends of the opposite sex?
Yes, it's definitely okay. If I had an issue with it, that would mean I had an issue with trusting him, and if I didn't trust you, we wouldn't be in a relationship.
Yes, as long as I know them.
Most definitely, I encourage it. I hope that he's able to interact with females in a way that can help him to grow. His exes and female friends, they're who mold him to be the man that I love.
I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, I'm not gonna parent you. If you wanna go out there and do what you're gonna do, you're gonna do what you're gonna do anyways.
Right. Yeah, I think that's okay.
Are there any restrictions or limitations on these friendships?
I mean, you're not going to spend the night at your friend's house.
I shouldn't have to tell you what the limit is. You should know what the limit is.
As long as a man respects himself and respects the relationship, there is no limitation.
I mean, not really. I've never been really that much of a jealous person.
Not about to, be going out all the time when I'm not there. We're about to go out together.
You and a friend?
Yeah, all three of us.
No, I don't want to use the real word, but guys are grimy.
So the fun thing about this show is that I get to interact with people from all walks of life and get all sorts of opinions and perspectives based on different experiences. So the first question being, what values do you look for in a mate? I think they were pretty consistent. What were some of the things that stick out for you, and what are you looking for in a mate?
The number one thing that I witness also respect, which is number one. It's a good one. But someone that's confident.
Absolutely.
Someone that can be encouraging, because we're all going to need someone to encourage us at times.
Absolutely. I think those are good. Good values for a mate. I think somebody who is confident, definitely. Someone who is goal oriented. I want somebody who is, wanting to continue to grow and improve upon himself as a person, career-wise, things of that nature. I like family oriented, and somebody who's strong in their faith, I think would be ideal. The next question was, how do you know when he or she is the one? How do you know?
I would say that when God gives you that revelation.
I don't know. I guess I have not met the one yet.
It all depends on where you're looking.
No, I don't think you have to look for the one. I think, especially if it's like what you're saying, that, God will place something on your heart and you'll know, based on trials and tribulations. I don't think you necessarily have to look, but if that is the feeling, I have not experienced the one yet. Do you think people should live together before marriage? See, a lot of these people, they discuss cleanliness and getting to know how a person lives when, they're in their comfort zone. So about living together before marriage, I think if you are, like we had one viewer say, if you are engaged and you want to live together before marriage, great. Because just dating, what is the incentive for you to move past boyfriend and girlfriend if you're already living together and handling business like a married couple?
I do agree that you should live together. I believe, because that's where you relax. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where, all of your armor comes down and you can really see what it is.
Right.
You wouldn't buy a car without driving it first, would you?
True indeed.
So I feel like you definitely should spend that time only when it's serious.
So the next question is, what wouldn't you do to maintain a relationship? And this was also, we got a lot of consistent answers. People don't want to degrade themselves. People don't want to settle. I know I'm one of those. I don't want to settle to be in a relationship or lose yourself in a relationship. Sometimes, I remember in my younger years, you try to be the girl that he would like, but today, I am who I am. So either you love me or leave me alone. What is your take on that?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, be yourself.
So this was the last of the do you relate questions. So do you think it's okay for your mate to have friends of the opposite sex? You tell me.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are there any limitations or restrictions?
I would say excessive time, late night. I believe honestly this. If you're in a relationship, you need to be around other people that are in a relationship.
Absolutely.
So if I have female friends, 9 times out of 10, they are in relationships. And of course, I respect the boundaries of, okay, well, we're not going to be hanging out at 3 o'clock in the morning, type of say, and it can be vice versa. So you want to keep boundaries in it, but you also want to make sure that each other respects each other's relationship with it as well.
Well, I like to think that I would be okay with that, but the thought is that I think we all could be friends. Like, if that's just going to be your friend and you guys are doing your own separate thing, I don't know, I might be kind of on the fence with that. Like, we had a lot of people say it was fine, but they had limitations, like they couldn't spend the night, things like that. I'm your friend too, so if you want to go to the movies, why do you want to go with her and not me? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I've not been in that situation, but it makes me kind of like,
It's something to think about. But I totally agree. Everyone should know of everyone.
Okay.
And a friend spending the night. I mean, it happens all the time. If this friend is, maybe they need a designated driver. If you have to go and get them, or if you're having a party at your house and they're too drunk to drive, would you send them home anyway?
I would send them in Uber. Uber's everywhere. Next segment is Butcher. Take a look, we'll be right back.
Would you date outside of your race?
They don't discriminate.
I love a black man, so it's difficult for me to say that I would date outside my race because I respect them in the way that I just want to be with them, and I want to uplift them in the way that they should be.
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, I have.
Before I moved here, I never dated a black female until I moved to Charlotte.
Yeah, I have. Plenty of times.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Would you consider dating someone of the same sex after numerous failed relationships?
Probably not.
No, I don't think I would ever do that.
Failed or not, I would. I'm pansexual, so I love everyone. Trans, straight, lesbian.
Yes.
Okay. What was that point?
Well, because I am strictly heterosexual, but if I get to a certain point in my life where I do want a significant other, I don't really think sex would matter at that point.
Not at all. I love women.
I know my sexuality pretty well, and I'm pretty straight.
Yes.
Not for me.
Not for me either.
Well, I can appreciate a beautiful woman, but when it comes time to the snap, I'm just like...
Yeah, Skip. Go to the next question.
Would you date someone who is celibate?
I don't think I could.
No.
That's abstinent, right?
I would, yes.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I know a lot of times it's a spiritual reasoning behind it.
For how long? Until we're married?
If I really am feeling that connection, I would just have to use the hand for a little bit.
6 months they got.
The sex doesn't matter, their gender doesn't matter, as long as you guys are there for each other and the energy is leveled, then I don't see celibacy as an issue.
Would you date someone who has an STD?
Depends on what kind of STD and if they're honest about it from the get-go.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Depends what it was.
Under the right circumstances, I'd be willing to work with it.
What are the right circumstances?
Love.
So it's one of those things where it's like if it's one of those ones that you can control or have control over, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yes. And I say that because we are taught fear from the time we are born. And if you're going to get to know someone, know the person and not their illness, not the things that they have to live with. I'm not going to knock what God has for me because they lived a life or experienced something in their life that changed them. And I wouldn't want to cut off something great for something minuscule.
No, probably not.
As long as they disclose that information and they're being super safe about it, we could date. I don't know how far it would go, but I would give them a chance.
Would you date someone who was not financially stable?
I mean, it shows their character if they are financially stable, so probably not, but that's just me.
I probably would, just because like I'll have my own job, I'll make my own money, get a prenup.
No, not really. That's kind of a turnoff.
If you're going to be a person who's going to be financially stable and then be in a relationship. You need to focus on you and your finances before you jump in a relationship.
Right now I'm pretty financially stable, so I think it would be difficult to be dating somebody who wasn't.
I would if they are trying to do better and trying to get themselves together. I would.
I wouldn't knock someone if they didn't have the financial backing that I would expect or would look forward to. I wouldn't do it.
I'm pretty sure about 85% of people out here are not financially where they want to be. So that's a yes. Okay. Like I said, as long as they have goals and they're striving for things, I don't mind working with you.
If you're not financially secure, I'm going to get you financially secure.
Yes, but it can only be for so long because I'm not going to be the sole income provider unless I'm making that type of money.
Got a bit of a white knight complex, so I try to, any relationship I'm in, I usually try to take care of them.
Yeah, because everybody grow at their own pace. If anything, I'd educate the person on it. Maybe they just need somebody to show them.
Yes, because I am. Okay. So I believe taking care. I believe the whole thing about women shouldn't have to work. I do believe that. So, anytime you want to give this gig up, just let me know.
All right, we're back, and as you can see, this segment is chock full of questions, and we want to know, would ya? All right, so we're gonna run them down. Would you date outside your race?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
And the verdict is?
People are people.
Would you consider dating someone of the same sex after numerous failed relationships?
Absolutely.
No?
No.
Okay. What do you think about our street interviews? We had, I think, more women than men to say that they would consider that. What are your thoughts about what you saw?
Yeah, so the way that worked out was, I think that more women, it's more accepted amongst the female race, species, to where they may feel more comfortable with doing that.
Okay. What about, would you date someone who is celibate?
Yes.
Okay. Would you date someone with an STD?
And to retract that answer, it depends on, first and foremost, is it true?
Okay.
Who contracted? Because at the same time, it's like having bad credit.
Okay.
Did you not follow through somewhere in the past? Now, if it was something that came from your companion stepped out and brought something back to you, that may be one thing. But if it's something that is you can't get rid of, and I'm completely healthy, I can put my health in jeopardy.
Okay. And what about dating someone who is financially secure? So for this, we spoke to a lot of young people, and even some of the older people I spoke with. They were very open to it. What are your thoughts about someone being financially secure?
I'm all for it, just because that plays a significant role in a relationship.
You're all for what?
All for someone that is financially secure.
So the question is, would you date someone who is not?
If they were working towards being financially secure, I would.
Okay.
I mean, it's very hard to date someone who their priorities are just all out of whack.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching What Would She Do? This is Justin Boyd, my debonair host. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
You can watch the show on YouTube at my channel, www.whatwouldshedothe.show. The name of my YouTube channel is What Would She Do The Show. Follow the show on Twitter at WWSD_the show. Thanks for watching, and you have a good night.